Hello, anatomy and physiology students. Mr. Brown here. And here is your review for chapters 5, 6, 7, and 8. The muscular system, the skeletal system, nervous system, and the special senses. All right, let's go through and give you some potential questions that you may see on the final exam. Here we go. What is the correct term for these blue bones found in the palm of your hand? The correct answer, these are metacarpals, not to be confused with the phalanges or the carpals. What is this bone and where is it found? This is a vertebrae. It is found in the spine, one of the backbones. Where would you find these three tiny bones? These are found in the ear. 3 in the left ear, 3 in the right ear. What do you call this upper arm bone found between the shoulder and the elbow? This is the humerus bone. What do you call this bone, sometimes nicknamed the breastbone? This is the sternum. Wrist bones, here in red, are called carpals. The largest bone in the body, the upper leg bone, the femur. Another name for your tailbone is the coccyx. The word itis, the root word itis, means inflammation or swelling. Pericarditis, hepatitis, tonsillitis, arthritis. These purple spacers are made of cartilage. The bone here, seen in red, helps us to speak. This bone is called the hyoid bone. What's wrong with this bone on the right? Low density bone is an issue called osteoporosis, weakened bones. What do we call these hollow openings in the skull? These are called sinuses. What do we call the physiological and psychological response to stress that prepares the body to react to danger? This is the fight or flight response, a very powerful response. Look at all the things that happen within the body. This is an example of a neuron or nerve cell. We see the divisions of the nervous system, the sensory input going into the decision-making part of the central nervous system. Once a decision is made, the signals are sent out to the motor output or the muscles. The skeleton can be divided into two main divisions called the axial skeleton and the appendicular skeleton. The axial skeleton is the skull, the ribs, and the vertebrae, and the appendicular skeleton is everything else. What medical condition is being shown here, where the joints are not freely moving and bone is grinding on bone? Arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis. 3 types of muscle tissue: cardiac muscle tissue of the heart, smooth muscle cells of the organs, and skeletal muscles, which we have conscious control over. Muscles are attached to bone by tendons, not to be confused with ligaments, which connect bone to bone. Tendons connect muscle to bone. What we're seeing here are all examples of smooth muscle tissue. Excuse me. The dilating and constricting of the pupil, the best word to describe that is involuntary. We do not have conscious control over that. The fan-shaped muscles of the upper chest are called pectoralis major. The kind of triangular shaped muscles of the back, shoulders, neck region, trapezius muscle. The theory of how muscles pull and contract is called the sliding filament theory of muscle contraction. The two places where muscle attaches to bone is the origin and the insertion. The muscles shown here in red are the gluteus maximus. The muscles in the back of the legs have nicknames. These are called hamstrings. Here we can see some people that have pulled hamstring muscles. Looks painful. Muscles don't have very many problems. This is one exception. A disorder of the muscular system, muscular dystrophy. A blank is a violent jarring or shaking that results in a disturbance of brain function, very often seen in football players. Concussion. This acronym FAST is used to detect a condition where the oxygen levels have been cut off to the brain. This is used to detect stroke. On the left, we see healthy brain. On the right, the brain has suffered a degenerative disease. The victim experiences memory loss and confusion. This is Alzheimer's disease. The nervous system is divided into basically two parts, the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. The central nervous system is the brain and the spinal cord, the decision makers, and the peripheral nervous system is everything else. The part of the peripheral nervous system that is not under our control is called the autonomic nervous system. We do not have conscious control over this, which in turn is subdivided into the parasympathetic, which relaxes and calms us down, and the sympathetic nervous system, which hypes us up and gets us ready for action. They work together as opposites, whereas one starts digestion, one stops digestion. One contracts the bladder, the other relaxes the bladder. So the peripheral nervous system subdivided into the autonomic system, which we cannot control, the somatic nervous system, which we can consciously control. What word is in the mystery box? That long tail coming off of a neuron is called a axon. Doctors perform these tests to check to see if the nervous system is working properly. These are reflexes. Which of these terms does not refer to neurons? They all do. They all refer to neurons except one, which is D, hemorrhage. Hemorrhage is severe bleeding. A, B, and C are all parts of a neuron. The gap between two neurons is called synapse. Dopamine, serotonin, endorphins, oxytocin are also known as neurotransmitters. This area of the brain is responsible for what? Deep inside the brain, this is where we get our emotions from, especially that amygdala. Moving on to parts of the eye, the whites of the eye, the sclera, the colored parts of the eye, the iris, and the pupil where light is allowed to enter. Conjunctivitis, an inflammation of the outer membrane of the eyeball, has a nickname. This medical condition is known as pink eye. Around the eye, we have lacrimal glands, which provide a lubricating fluid, lacrimal fluid, also known as tears. Lacrimal fluid, tears. The vision cells in the back of the eye on the retina are called rods and cones. This is a diagram showing our sense of touch, hot, cold, pain, pressure. This is our sense of balance, the semicircular canals. Notice how they are orientated in 3 different axes, which help us to maintain our balance. If you spin around and the fluids inside there gets all shaken up, that's called dizziness, and it should go away in a couple minutes. This showing our sense of hearing. Olfactory receptors are for our sense of smell. Olfactory, smell. All right, a review of chapters 5, 6, 7, and 8. Study up, and I wish you all the best for your anatomy and physiology final exam, which is open now. Thank you, and please contact me if you have any questions or concerns. Bye for now.